Hey peeps, welcome back to my channel. My name is Drusilla Shay, if you don't know already. Hey, get the show to work. Hey, listen, I'm from Harlem. We Harlem Shake. In today's video, we are going to be talking about how to mix prints and patterns, beginner friendly version. It's funny because I'm also a beginner, but I'm just so excited to share with you all what I have learned in terms of mixing prints and patterns. That is something that has scared me for a long time. If you're a little bit more minimal, then you can probably relate. Trust and believe that it's very easy for it to go left, but I feel like there's definitely a science to it. I am going to be sharing some things that I learned that would help you if you wanted to also start mixing some prints and patterns. So let's get into it. Tip number one, if you want to mix prints and patterns, an easy way to do it without it going completely south is mixing prints and patterns in the same color scheme. So although they may be different prints or patterns, if they're within the same color scheme, it has less of a chance of clashing because although the print and pattern might be different, the color at least would be the same or in the same range. I'll show you an example. So here I have this paisley print top. It is in this, dark, almost royal blue color. And then I have these chevron shorts. This is in navy. They're both in a darker blue range. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely gonna be busy, but that's the thing with prints and patterns. There's just way more to look at. However, because they are in the same color scheme, there would be more of a flow. So I'm gonna try this out so that you can see it for yourself. Got my paisley top, chevron shorts. Like I said, there's definitely a lot to look at because, hey, we are talking about mixing prints here. But it's not something that's overwhelming because the colors are not too far off. Now, if I had pants that were a little bit closer in color to the top, I would probably have chosen that over these shorts just so that it can blend in a little bit more. But hopefully you guys get the idea, right? When you have two different prints and patterns going on, but they're not far off in color, then you're just allowing the outfit to be a little bit more cohesive. I'll give you another example. So here I have these tiger print boots, and then I have this cheetah print top. Now, as you can see, they're not very far off in color. They're all in the same brown, tan, neutral kind of family. So because they're not that far off in color, although they are different prints, they actually don't really clash because again, they flow in color. I also have another example coming up. A lot of these tips, you'll see them being coupled in this video, but just know that this tip is tried and true. It works. So here is example number 3. I have this black and white polka dot top. I also have this black and white houndstooth skirt. Because they're both black and white, they're not clashing because they're in the same color schemes. Now, black and white prints and patterns are probably like my favorite things to mix because I think that they are so much harder to mess up. So hopefully you get the point when it comes to point number 1. My second suggestion with mixing prints and patterns is to mix subtle prints with more busy, louder prints. So in this example, I have this polka dot shirt again, but the polka dots are very small. Because it's toned down, it's actually really easy to mix with something that's more turned up. They balance each other out. So although, my skirt is definitely more of a bold statement, I'm able to, pair it with this top because they're not competing. A tip that I will give as well is if you're mixing prints and patterns, especially if you're a beginner like me, if you already have two prints and patterns going on, it will probably be a good idea to keep everything else in your outfit solid. So this includes accessories, keeping your shoes solid. If you now start mixing even more prints and patterns in the mix, I can't help you. I do have a second example of this as well. Okay, y'all, so here is example number 2. We have this top that is very busy. I don't really know what to call this print, okay? We just gonna call it the art museum print. And then we also have this bucket hat that is a very very faded, spaced out cow print. The reason why this works is for a few reasons. One is that they're actually in the same color scheme, right? You see the pink here, you see, you know, some of the pink in my shirt. Second reason why this works is because, as I said, when you're mixing prints and patterns, it doesn't look bad when you have a very busy print mixed with a more subtle print. So this is more subtle because, as I said, the cow print is more spaced out. There are some cow prints in, you know, fabrics that are super close together, so it looks way more busy, but this is not busy. It's very, very subtle. Because they are not given the same busy vibes, it's able to flow together. Something else that I wanted to point out, which is a point that I mentioned before, is if I'm gonna be mixing two prints, let's keep the rest solid, simple, neutral, okay? I'm wearing these bike shorts. If the bottoms weren't solid, this could go left. I'm not saying it's not possible to mix, you know, another pattern in there. I'm just saying, you know, I don't know how to do it. I think that's where a lot of the times mixing prints and patterns goes really south, is because there's so many things competing for attention. And so it starts to look really busy and really, really tacky. So there's this. Now we're going to move on to point 3. Tip number 3, when you're mixing prints and patterns, if you have a really loud print, loud in color, you can mix it with a very subtle neutral print. This is the loudest print I would say that I have in terms of color. I know it's not extremely bright, but just use this as an example. This is very busy, you know, more on the bold side, and I have paired it with these. They're pretty much like charcoal color snakeskin pants. Because these are so dark in color and they're so subtle with the pattern, it's very, very toned down. Some people may not even really notice that I'm wearing a print on my pants until they come up close. That's one of the ways that you can, you know, mix your prints and patterns without it clashing. If one is super neutral, super calm, you know, you barely see the print, and then you mix it with something that's very loud, it can still be tasteful. So that's another way of mixing prints and patterns that's a little bit more safe. Tip number 4, you can break up your prints and patterns with solids. So you would have to leave enough of a gap in between your prints and patterns so that it doesn't look overwhelming. If you have a printed top and then you have a solid bottom and then you have printed shoes, a lot of the times you're able to get away with that because that solid piece in the middle is breaking things up and it's leaving enough of a space where you're able to get away with 2 different things going on. So I'll show you how that looks. Just so you know, I probably wouldn't wear this outfit on a normal basis. I'm just using this for demonstrational purposes. I would probably wear a skirt with this outfit. Houndstooth up here, nice little break in the prints and patterns with a solid, and then we have the printed boots. Because we have a solid in the middle breaking it up, it leaves enough space for us to get jiggy with it, okay, again, on the feet. But just know, with all these tips, things can easily go south. Really depends on the prints and the patterns that you choose. You gotta tread lightly. My next tip would be to mix the same prints, just different colors. So if you have 2 cow print pieces, you can mix those 2 together if they're different colors. Of course, you can also mix it if they're the same color, but another way to do it is if they're the same exact print, but just different color schemes, it'll be easy to match that because there's definitely not going to be any clashing going on with the prints. So I'll show you how that looks. Alrighty, so here we have this snakeskin blazer. It's in this nice toned down blue color, and it is paired with my charcoal color snakeskin pants. It's literally the same snakeskin, but they are different colors. They're able to pair well together. I gotta caveat one thing. Mixing different colors can also get tricky. If I had, for example, a green snakeskin blazer and then I wanted to pair it with like a red snakeskin pair of pants, I might be looking like a little Christmas tree. Just also be mindful of that. I do have a video on how to start incorporating color into your outfit, and I do speak about, you know, how to safely start mixing colors. And one of those things is by adding in some neutrals. I believe that the reason why this combination of snakeskin works out well is because they're both pretty toned down colors. However, if they were very loud and different colors, there's a chance that things can start looking tacky. So I just wanted to put that out there. Last but not least, one of the easiest ways to mix prints and patterns is just mixing them by way of accessories. You don't have to necessarily wear prints in your top, prints in your pants or your skirts. You can subtly mix them by just using accessories that have different prints. Accessories tend to be smaller. It's not like you are mixing prints and patterns that are on a very large scale. So I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so here I have this bag. It is an African print bag. I decided to just tie it around my waist and do something a little bit different with it. But then I have my tiger print boots. They're two different prints, two different patterns, but they work well because, again, this is on a very small scale. Can't see my shoes too much anyway because of my pants, and you know, my bag is fairly small, so it's not like these are clashing. On top of that, they are part of the same color scheme, so that is helping the situation. If you are not necessarily sure where to start and you feel like, you know, this is still all a lot for you, then I would recommend this last tip as your starting point. All right, y'all, so that is it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it and that it was helpful for you. The more I find out, the more I will share with you. I'm also definitely a student as well. I want to learn from you all. So if you have tips on how to mix prints and patterns, go ahead and leave it down in the comments, okay? We can all benefit from that. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, also meet me in the comments and I'll get back to you. Thank you so much for sticking with me for yet another video. I appreciate you all. Please, before you head out, don't forget to press that red subscribe button, okay? Join the family and turn on that bell notification button so that anytime I post, you're gonna know what it is, okay? You're gonna get that notification. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll see you guys in my next video next Sunday. Deuces.